Bago pong lahat, para sa iba pang balita, huwag po muna ninyong kalimutan mag-subscribe sa JB News, i-like at i-share at i-on na rin ninyo ang notification bell para updated po kayo.
Ako, pinainit ang ulo ko nitong Baninay na ito. Wala akong plano makipagbasagan ng banatan ngayong araw na to. Pero dahil dito sa Baninay na ito, napilitan ako mag-live. Nanonood na ako ng Netflix, so nakailang series na ako. Kaya lang napaka-importante ho nito. Hindi ho biro yung ginagawa niya. Yung sinabi niyang nag-announce siya na I am positive. Makikigaya pa. Ano ba yan? Makikigaya na lang na I am positive pa. Akala ko nga noon na inaano niya ako. Kasi alam mo naman, minamak ako ng iba. Kaya ba't daw nagkasakit? Ganito, karma. So sabi ko, sige. Kung ang kaligayahan mo mag-max sa akin, sige, go lang. Tapos, ganito pa ang kakalabasan nito. Ambay, luko pala ito eh. Itong Baninay na ito po ay isang vlogger ho ito. Okay? Na actually, nagpo-posto ng mga anti-Duterte. Napaka-importante ng real time. Napaka-importante ng tamang date. Tamang pagiging honest ng pasyente. Bakit to? Kasi nakasalalay din ikaw yung mga tao maapektuhan mo sa paligid mo. So you cannot lie about your sickness. You cannot lie about... Kaya nagkakaproblema sa hawaan is dahil dun sa tracing. Hindi nila maalala, kailan ba ako nagkasakit? Kailan ba ako nagkaganto? Kaya nga, di ba, supposedly, sinabi sa Amerika pa nga, 10 days na lang. O ng WHO, 10 days na lang. Kaya lang, just to be safe, dun na tayo sa safe na 14. Kumakain ka na ng marami. Yes po. So, 14 days. Naintindihan nyo? Tapos, bigla ko nakita ito si Baninay. Nabuisit tuloy ako talaga. Sabi ko, anak ka naman ng bananga. Baninay, oo. Nag-post siya na I am positive. Kinabukasan after ako nag-post. Sabi ko, ito nang gagaya ba to? Nang guloko ba to? Nagmamak ba ito? Tapos, nung tiningnan ko, sini-research ko, anti-Duterte siya na vlogger. Hindi siya political vlogger, vlogger na siya kung whatever ko anong pagiging vlogger niya. Dati siyang PBB, bla bla bla. Mga taga-PBB talaga, oh. Dati siyang vlogger, okay? Ay, vlogger siya dati siyang PBB. Tapos, sasabihin niya, nag-tweet siya na meron siyang COVID. Okay? Di, siyempre, sabi ko pa nga, pagkakataon ko na to, nasabihan sa tao na DBS, huwag nating banatan. Okay? Matuto tayong rumespeto sa mga may taong namatayan o kaya nagkasakit. Matuto tayong rumespeto at huwag tayong tumula doon sa dilawan. Niretweet ko pa man din siya. Ano ba namang klaseng tao ito si Baninay? Nag-post, gustong sumabay sa... Hindi ko alam kung nananad siya para sumabay. Kasi pinick up ng Inquirer, News 5, pati ng I think ABS-CBN yung sa akin, pati yung tweet, yung tweet din ni Angel Locsin. Sabi ko, ano to? Gusto niya sumabay? Gusto niyang gusto mo magsumikat? Saka sinabi mo, bigay ko sa ito COVID. Alam mo yung parang, huwag mo namang gawing biro yan. So, totoo nga na nagka-COVID siya. Pero ang istorya ay ganito. Okay? Ang istorya, sabi, according kay Pokwang, hoy Baninay, huwag mong pagkapaperahan yung clickbait mo para lang dumami views mo. Views mo, negative ka na, di ba, ng last August 2. Bakit? July 21 ka pa nagkasakit. So, August 2, negative ka na. Okay? August 16, naglaro ka sa amin. Nagpanic kami kanina dahil nakita namin sa vlog mo na nag-upload ka ay na-trending ka. So tama nga naman. Lahat ng nakasama ni Baninay, etong mga recent, kakabahan. Kasi lumabas ka eh. Kasi nga, kaya ka nasa labas dahil alam mong negative ka na ever since nung August 2. August 2, negative ka na, so lumabas ka na. So lahat ng nakasama mo mula nung August 2, hindi mo man lang naisip nakakabahan sila dun sa tweet mo na positive ka. Ngayon ka lang kahapon ka lang nag-tweet. Hindi mo ba naisip yun? Ano lang, bakit? Sabi nga ni Pokwang, dahil sa pera? Ito pa sabi niya, dahil sa vlog mo, nagpanic kami. Late upload naman yan at negative naman result mo last August. Huwag mong gawing pagkaperahan yung mga COVID. Kaya mo nalalaman ka pa na nag-update sa mga ganap sa iyo, negative ka naman. Parang nawawala. Ayan. Di ba? Parang sabi ko nga, ano ba namang klaseng tao ito si Baninay? Para lang mapansin, para lang sumabay sa... Kasi, huwag tayo magkaala eh. Sinabay mo. Kasi sa tamang panahon mo naman ilalagay, isasabay mo na may isang vlogger na balita na kumokontra, na criticize kay Angel Locsin, na which is ako, isasabay mo na kailangan din ako din. Sa totoo lang, kung pwede nga hindi ako nagkaganon, hindi ko kailangan magkaganon para magkaroon ng clickbait. At ito baka akala mo pinagkakaperahan ko din tong COVID ko. Excuse me, nagpo-post ako tungkol sa COVID, not discussing about myself. What am I doing here? I'm eating here. Ganito ko. Walang ganun. Nagpo-post ako sa COVID to teach people ano yung mga na-experience ko nung una na para maiwasan din nila. Ano yung mga ginawa ko? Saan ko ba nakuha ito? It's not about me. It's about the COVID itself. Para matuto yung tao. Magkaroon ng lesson sa kanila na baka maiwasan nila, masubukan nilang iwasan. Tapos ikaw magtitweet ka ng ganyan para mapansin. According to Pokwang to kasamahan mo. Para mapansin, para manood ng views mo, ng channel mo. Ano ba namang klase yan? Hindi tama yung kanyang pag-iisip basta lang makahirit ka Kung gusto mo talagang gusto mong mag-vlog about COVID, educate the people. Anong naranasan mo? Paano mo siya na-survive? Paano makakatulong sa kanila? Ganun sanang gawin natin. Huwag naman yung basta lang meron lang masabi. Basta lang mapansin. Tas talagang yung caption ko, gagayahin mo pa yung I am positive. Nakaka-rindi naman. Ito depensa ni Pakita ko lang. Ito po ang depensa ni Baninay. Wait lang. Ayan. I do not tolerate any kind of discrimination to COVID patient, frontliners, and even survivor. This is one of the main reasons why we delayed the upload of our videos. We waited until everything went well. Thank you for all your love and prayers. Sabit naman yung depensa mo. ang depensa mo para hindi ma-discriminate. So parang ayaw mo sabihin para hindi ma-discriminate ka? Eh sana hindi mo nila sinabi. Walang madi-discriminate kung hindi mo sinabi. Eh, hindi na naisip ko noon eh. Sigurado ako, pag sinabi ko in public, aatakihin ako ng mga dilawan tay at mga MPA na pawok. Pero sabi ko, ano ba reason ko? Ba't ko sinabi? Sinabi ko kasi I want to educate the people kung ano yung niranasan ko na paghihirap, kung ano yung dinanasan ko, kung saan ako nagkamali, kung ano yung naranasan ko na pakiramdam para ma-warningan sila sa simula pa lang, ito nararamdaman nyo. Kaya nga ako gumawa ng video, kaka-upload ko lang eh. Sabi ko, gagawa ko ng video kung ano yung mga unang masasabi natin simptomas para pagka nagkaroon na kayo ng ganun, paswab na kaagad kayo para makaiwas kayo. Yun yung gusto kong at yung rason mo. Kaya ka nilate upload kasi para hindi ma-discriminate. So kunwari, hindi ka binuking. Kunwari lang, hindi ka binuking ni Pokwang. So hindi mo aaminin na late upload yun. Hindi mo sasabihin na late upload yun. Bakit? Nagte-trending ka eh. Gusto mo trumending din. Gumaya din. Na mapabalita din. Atakihin ka ng DDS para magalit ka. Tas ganito. Gusto mo na... grabe. Hindi ko kinaya yung level ng mo ha. Ako nagre-react lang ako kay Pokwang. Huwag mong sabihin sinungaling si Pokwang. It's either ikaw ang sinungaling o si Pokwang ang sinungaling. It's something na hindi ho magandang halimbawa yan. Ewan ko, alam ko, bata-bata ka pa, bata-bata mo pati, nabubuhay ka na kagad sa kasinungalingan. Hindi ho maganda yan, maging magandang halimbawa ka naman sa bayan natin. Saka, bakit mali ho ang late upload? Okay lang sana kung ganito eh. I am positive. COVID. Nagka-COVID ako. Tapos merong late upload. Wala kang intensyon na wala kang sabihin nun, wala kang intensyon na linlangin yung tao. 'Di ba? So kaya mo sinabing late upload. Okay. Natapos na pala siya. So, paano ba siya naging successful? Hindi ganun ang motibo mo eh. Until binuking ka ni Pokwang. Ang motibo mo, mag-trending. Kitang-kita doon sa nangyayari, nagtitrending ka. Gusto mong, kung hindi mo mag-trending, sige. Ang motibo mo, panoorin ng tao. Kaya nga clickbait ang tawag sa ni Pokwang. Sa kanya nang galing yun. Napaka-importante sa COVID patient, yung oras, yung eksakto, yung real time. Kasi kung ikaw lang, walang problema kung kailan mo gustong kung kailan mo gustong sabihin yan, walang problema. Kaya lang napaka-importante yan kasi may mga tao kang nakasalumuha within your So katulad ko, halimbawa sa akin, inamin ko August 6 ako meron. Okay. Tapos 16 ako nagpa-swab. 17 ko na lamang positive. Pero inamin ko na August 6 ako na may sakit. Bakit ko sinabi yon? Kasi para kung meron man ako nakasama within that time. Okay, si Siri humihirit. Ayan. At least kung meron man akong nakasama from August 6 up to ngayon, magiging aware sila. Uy, nakasama ko si Bay ng mula nung August 7 o 8. Nag-meeting kami. Kunwari ganun. Kunwari may ganun. Diba? At least magiging aware na sila. Magka-quarantine na rin sila kasi yung tinatawag ng mga PUI tsaka PUM eh. Diba? Persons under monitoring. So, yan yung importante yan eh. Napaka-importante nung oras. Hindi lang para sa'yo. kung hindi para sa mga kasamahan mo, mga nakasama mong tao. Importante yun. Para alam nila, sandali, ano ba ako? Nakasama ko ba itong tao na ito? Kaya nga si Pokwang nataranta eh. Kasi sandali, bigla ka nag-post, tapos August 16, tama ba yun? August 16, magkasama pa kayo? Parang sa game show ba yun? So medyo, sabit nga naman yun. Sana kung siya lang yung nakasama mo. Pambira kang babae ka, oo. Maling-mali ang ginawa mo. Mag-sorry ka. Mali ang ginawa mo. Lalo na, ako nga sabi ko nga, hindi ko personalin to pero bilang isang COVID patient, parang, dumaan ka sa pagiging COVID patient. Ibig sabihin, naintindihan mo kung ano yung naramdaman ng mga COVID patient. Yung mga nurse na walang sawang nag-aalaga sa'yo, sa mga COVID patient, sa atin. Pati doktor. Tapos gagawin mong biro hindi na biro. Hindi nga biro eh. Gagawin mong clickbait lang yung araw kung saan ka sasabihin mo, nagka-COVID ako.
Nung Lunes po, nakilala ko kayo, no? Nandito kayo sa House of Representatives.
Yes, sir.
Ba't wala ho kayo ngayon?
Sir, medyo masama pong pakiramdam ko. Tapos naka-receive na po tayo ng preventive suspension. So inaayos ko po yung magamit ko kasi this will be the last day that I will be in office for the next 6 months. I apologize, Mr. Chair.
How old are you, Attorney Del Rosario?
I'm 45 years old, Mr. Chair.
45 years old. Ilang taon na kayo sa Philhealth?
I've been with Philhealth since 1998 po.
So 1998, you were 22 or 23 years old. Nasa Philhealth na ho kayo.
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
And this is not your first job, or is Philhealth your first job or not?
No, sir. I worked with, I was a radio broadcaster, reporter, and I worked with the DNR and then Civil Service Commission. And I was invited by the first president of Philhealth, Joe Fabiak, who joined Philhealth as his executive assistant.
So naka-apat na trabaho na kayo bago kayo pumasok sa Philhealth at the very young age of 23 years old.
Yes, sir. Pero maikling panahon lang po, sir. 1 year po.
So ano-ano yung naging trabaho nyo sa Philhealth, Mr. De Rosario?
Mr. President, Mr. Chair, I was executive assistant. Then I was a job order contractor. When Attorney Fabio resigned, I was deemed resigned. So I applied back to Philhealth as a job order. Then eventually I was appointed as Development Management Officer 4, assigned at the membership and contributions.
Ilang taong kayo noon? Nung sa membership and contributions kayo?
I think mga 25, Mr. Chair.
So, sandali lang kayo nag-job order, tapos naging permanente kagad kayo sa Philhealth?
Yes, sir. Mga 6 months po akong job order, sir.
Tapos, kinuha na kayo. So, doon kayo sa membership contributions, tapos saan pa kayo nagtrabaho? Anong parte pa ng korporasyon?
Membership contributions, then I was assigned po, sir, sa Office of the SBP Operations, Office of the Workers Program. I was also staff sa Benefits Development Office. Then I was Chief of Corporate Planning.
Kailan kayo naging Chief ng Corporate Planning?
I think, sir, 2005, 2004.
So, anong salary grade nyo noon, nung 2007?
Salary grade 22 po.
Pardon me?
22, sir, 22.
Salary grade 22. Okay, so corporate planning, tapos?
Nung nasa corporate planning ako, sir, naging division chief ako, SG24 na po yun. Tapos, naging OIC manager po ako ng corporate communications. Nakalimutan ko bangitin, sir, naging OIC manager din po ako ng information technology
Information technology, naging chief rin kayo ng information technology.
Yes, sir, opo. Nung panahon po na...
Anong year yun?
Sir, November 4, 2011, mga 1 year din po ako doon bago ako nalipat ulit.
Okay, tapos?
Tapos, sir, I was designated na po sa... yung isa, sir, sa PRID pa po, no? Physical Resource Infrastructure Department. Naging OIC Senior Manager din po.
So, Physical Infrastructure Department?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tapos?
Tapos, sir, naging OIC RVP ng Region 1.
Kaya anong year yun? Naging OIC RVP kayo, Regional Vice President na Region 1?
Yung first assignment ko po, sir, doon, sir, 2013, for 7 months lang po, sir. Tapos, nabalik po ako sa Central Office as Manager of Corporate Communications Department. Then, I was transferred to NCR South Branch. Then, after nun, reassigned po ulit ako sa Region 1 for more than 2 years na po. 2 years and 7 months po ata. Then after Region 1, Region 11, tapos sir, I was reassigned to legal na po 2018 July.
July 2018, you were assigned to legal. Anong posisyon nyo sa legal sector or legal department ng Philhealth?
OIC, sir, officer in charge ng Office of the Senior Vice President when the SVP took a leave of absence.
Sino yung SVP na yun?
Attorney Jermaine Lim.
Okay. Tapos?
Then, sir, I was appointed as SVP na po April of 2019.
April of 2019, naging SVP na kayo ng legal.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. So, the whole time, kailan kayo naging abogado, Attorney De Rosario?
I became a lawyer in 2016, sir. I took the bar in 2015. I took the bar when I was with Region 1. I took a leave of absence for several months to review and to take the bar.
Gaano katagal kayo sa law school? How long were you in the College of Law?
Ano, sir? Including po yung leave of absence ko na 1 year, mga 6 years.
6 years. Tapos, so, binigyan nyo sa amin yung background. Parang before you became OIC of the legal sector, parang wala kayong legal training. May legal training na ba kayo bago noon?
Wala, sir. Kasi ano po yun lang po yung ano ko, yun yung time na ano po ako, naging ano tawag dito, naging OIC ng legal. Doon lang po ako nagkaroon ng legal doon lang po ako na expose sa ano.
So sa isang korporasyon na 150 billion a year, almost ang budget, would you say that your legal experience is good enough for you to hold the senior vice president position of the legal sector of Philhealth?
Sir, kasi ang nangyari, I have no intention po.
Ano lang, natanong ko lang sa'yo, if it's good enough, if your qualifications are good enough to make you the senior vice president of a 200 billion peso corporation, the senior vice president for legal affairs of a 200 billion peso corporation.
I think, sir, the qualifications, kaya doon sa re-engineering, sir, ang proposal po namin sa Chief General Counsel po, yung position, ay extensive na experience sa legal. Kasi napakahirap po, sir. Napakahirap po, Mr. Chairman. I would prefer an operations or corporate.
So you admit, Mr. De Rosario, that you are not really meant for that job. Hindi talaga kayo qualified to head the legal department of the biggest GOCC in the Philippines.
Sir, in terms of sa SVP position, I think I'm qualified. My appointment has been validated. But the legal sector will benefit from a more experienced legal person, Mr. Chair.
Sino nag-validate ng iyong pagiging SVP ng PhilHealth? Yung sinasabi mong validation.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Who validated your competence to be the Senior Vice President of the Legal Department of PhilHealth?
First, sir, the selection process, the PhilHealth Board, and the appointment was validated by the Civil Service Commission.
Binalidate the Civil Service Commission. Are you assessor, Attorney De Rosario?
I'm CSEE, sir. Career Service Executive Eligible.
Also, you're a CSEE since when?
Outer part, 2011 po.
I think Honorable Remulla, VP Mas of Human Resources will reply.
Yes, sir. Under sa sector ko, Human Resource Department, I would like to submit itong certified true copy ng report on appointment issued by PhilHealth. Palagay dito, Rodolfo de Losario validated. His appointment was validated by Director 4 Judith Dongalok Chicano of the Civil Service Commission. We will submit this, sir.
What does validation entail, sir? Anong ibig sabihin ng validation? Ano ang sinasabi ng validation?
Na-comply niya, sir, yung mga qualification standards ng Civil Service Commission as to education, as to experience na 5 years managerial, at saka training na 120 hours in management and supervision. I will submit, sir, the report of Civil Service.
But there's no validation as to his fitness to be the Vice President for Legal Affairs of the biggest government corporation. Meron ba?
Sir, yung qualification standards ko kasi sa mga senior vice president.
Question of the Honorable Remulla is may validation ba to be head of legal?
To be head of legal, para siya ang maging #1 lawyer ng PhilHealth. Meron bang validation yan?
Yung qualification standards ko kasi ng SVP for legal, sir, sa PhilHealth ay lang generic na 5 years in the position involving management and supervision. Wala akong nakasabi na as lawyer. So generic ho yung
So you don't, so ang lawyer pareho lang yan. A lawyer does not need qualification. Basta lawyer ka, okay ka na. Yun ang sinasabi nyo.
BP Dennis Mas, ang tanong ko yung sa legal hindi dun sa Senior Vice President. May validation ba na mag-head siya na siya ang tama sa legal?
Sir, yung appointment ho sa kasi niya legal.
Hindi, meron nga bang validation o wala?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, let's look at this. Mr. De Rosario, there were 220 cases in Region 1. Did you review these cases after you became the Senior Vice President for Legal Affairs?
No, sir. Bali, ang po dyan, yung fact-finding investigation and enforcement department, sila po yung nagkikipag-coordinate po sa ating regional
Hindi, ang
offices.
tinatanong ko, did you review them after, when you became the Senior Vice President for Legal Affairs? Did you review these cases?
No, sir.
Okay, teka, tama na.
Okay.
Oh, sige, next question. Yung Accenture case, did you review it?
No, sir. Kasi wala pong pending case sa Accenture.
Ano? Walang?
There's no pending case po na about sa Accenture. Aside from the one pending investigation po noon na we filed. The PhilHealth Board decided to file the cases. An investigation report that has been pending for several years.
So who is
Regarding-
investigating, Mr. De Rosario?
I'm sorry, sir.
Who is investigating the Accenture case? Sino nag-iimbestiga?
Sir, mayroon pong fact-finding committee po yan. It was composed of a number of lawyers. If I remember it right po, yung mga kasama po dyan ay sila Attorney Dodi Pineda po. Siya pong chairman.
So walang nangyayari sa Accenture case, Mr. De Rosario, but even if you are the Vice President, the Senior Vice President for Legal Affairs of PhilHealth,
Sir, yung una pong mga investigation, tapos na po yun. Nagkaroon na po ng verdict po doon. Meron lang pong naiwan na isang investigation report that nung na-conduct po kami ng inventory, we presented it to the PhilHealth Board. So yung mga tao po doon na nirecommend ng committee to be charged, na-charged na po.
Ano ang charge na final ng committee?
Ano sir, grave misconduct.
Grave
Sa grave
misconduct. 140 million pesos, grave misconduct lang ang final nyo?
Sir, yung ano po, yung una pong charge nila ay ano din po yun, na grave misconduct. So na-dismiss na po yung mga yun. Yun po sir, yun ang nirecommend ng committee.
Okay.
No criminal complaints
You are now the head of the legal sector of Philhealth. How many lawyers are there in the whole Philhealth? Whole Philhealth system?
Sa legal, including sa region sir, siguro around mga 20 plus sir.
20 plus lawyers.
Yung permanent lawyers, yes. We have, ano kasi sir, we have mga project-based.
How many of them are more senior than you in terms of law experience or being a lawyer? Among the 20?
I think, sir, more than 10 or half or more.
Maybe most of them are more senior
Yes, sir.
than you as a
Yes, sir.
lawyer.
Yes,
Mr. De
I think
Rosario.
so, sir. Yes, sir, that's correct.
Alam mo naman, ba't tinatanong ko yan, Mr. De Rosario, no? It's not to belittle your competence or your
Yes, I
capability.
understand, sir.
It's just that you are holding the most important legal job in the biggest government corporation with a budget of 200 billion, and here you are, appointed as Senior Vice President for the legal sector with less than 5 years experience as a lawyer. Am I correct, Mr. De Rosario?
That's correct, sir. If I will be reassigned, I will be very happy, Mr. President.
But you are enjoying being Senior Vice President of Philhealth.
No,
Kahit
not
na
at
hindi
all,
ka
sir.
bagay sa legal sector, kinukuha mo pa rin yung posisyon ng Senior Vice President for legal.
Sir, when I was transferred here, the President then requested me 3 times. I refused 3 times. But yun sir, actually, kung pwede lang, kung makakabalik lang ako sa regions, I will prefer that, Mr. Chairman.
Now, Mr. De Rosario, meron pong allegations na kayo daw ang main player sa PhilHealth Mafia. Would you deny that?
I absolutely deny that, Mr. Chair. Wala po tayong tinatago. Pumirma na po tayo ng yung sa waiver sa AMLAC. We are willing to submit sa lifestyle. Sir, sobrang ano po niyan, sobrang unfair po ng nasasaktan po tayo ng gusto dyan, pati po yung mga miyembro ng
Na allegations ngayon, kaya tinatanong ko sa iyo, that's an allegation. So you are denying that, Mr. De Rosario?
Sir, wala po. Wala po tayong kinasasapian na kahit anong pong mafia. Tayo po ay tapat na naglilingkod po dito.
Mr. De
Kung meron
Rosario,
man po-
kung meron kang pagkukulang, it is that you are not really fit to be the Senior Vice President of the legal sector of PhilHealth, which is now embattled and has na napakarami ng problemang legal. Andiyan ka, alam mong hindi naman ikaw talaga ang dapat humahawak ng legal problems ng PhilHealth. Kung meron kayong kasalanan, it's more of incompetence, Mr. De Rosario. Would you call it that?
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. I beg to disagree. The records will show that during my limited time here, nadoble po yung pagpa-file ng criminal complaints. Tapos tumaas po yung bilang ng investigations at resolution ng cases. Yun po yung katotohanan, Mr. Chairman.
How many cases were filed while you
The
were
figures.
in the past year? Ilan ang kasong na-file ng PhilHealth sa court?
Sorry, sir. Somebody is calling the phone. It keeps on.
How many?
Sir, we have. I don't have the records now with me, but on the criminal complaints, before my time here, there were only 11 complaints filed. And ngayon po, nadoble na po yan. Although I'm not really happy with the figures.
So, na-doble na. There are 22 cases filed now. or 30 cases,
Yes, sir.
Mr. De Rosario?
Yes, that's correct.
That is your
Sir,
output for
Sir,
that is your output for for 1 year. Nakapag-file kayo ng 30 cases. Yun ang sinasabi nyo.
Tapos sir, yung administrative cases po natin, marami po tayo na-file, in thousands po yan. Kung makikita po ninyo yung na-file since 2013 to 2017, mas marami pa po yung na-file 2018.
Mr. De Rosario, ito na lang.
Honorable Remulla,
Sir.
pwede lang akong bilis sa singit. Ang ibig niyo po sabihin yung pinalitan ninyo, ang na-file lang niya ng case ay 11 because you have doubled, sabi mo, yung filing ninyo.
Yes sir, hindi lang po yung pinalitan ko. Mula pa nung panahon na naunang panahon yan.
Sino ang nakaupo dyan noong mga panahong yan?
Several SBPs na po yung umupo po rito.
Yes, but sino yung nakaupo prior sa inyo?
The Attorney Jermaine Lim po, Your Honor.
Before him, sino?
I think it's Attorney Ed Asuncion,
So, Lim, Asuncion, sino pa?
Attorney Bong Galicto,
Okay, sino
Attorney...
yung...
So, Mr. De Rosario, in 22 years na nasa Philhealth ka, halos walang ginawa yung legal department of Philhealth about all of these cases that can involve malversation, violation of the Anti-Graft Act, plunder, etc., etc., etc. Like estafa. Walang nakakasuhan na ganong kaso.
Meron sir, pero 11 nga lang po.
Isa lang.
11.
Ano yan? Criminal cases yan that are already pending in court.
Yes sir, at marami po...
Or
doon
pending with the
na-dismiss, sir.
fiscal. May malaking diferensya yan eh. Yung kasong yan ba, nasa piskalya o nasa korte na?
Yung mga nasa piskalya, Your Honor, na-dismiss pa.
Mr. Chair, may I ask if the resource person, this Attorney De Rosario, is still under his continuing oath?
Yes, he is under his continuing oath.
Because there are several things that he is talking about which are against the records that that are in my possession. For example, yung sinasabi ko kanina, merong SPA na dinirekta siya na siyang mag-file, wala siyang ipinail kahit isa. These are 220 cases na iniwan niya sa Region 1. Pagkatapos kung ano-ano yung sinasabi niya, I just want to make sure na ibang record ang sinasabi niya kaysa sa paghahawak natin dito.
Yung binabanggit niya, Honorable Marcoleta, dun sa legal na, sa taas, sa central office.
Sa central office, Mr. Chair, tingnan mo, sinuspindi niya ang napakaraming tao. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ang tanong ko sa kanya, Mr. Chair, kung nandun pa siya, did you file any criminal case against these people na sinuspindi mo? Kilala mo ito? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 8 tao sinuspindi mo. Did you ever file any criminal case as against these 8 people that you suspended by way of an ad hoc committee that you constituted?
Mr. Chair,
Tinatanong kita, yan ang ayaw ko sa iyo eh. Mr. Chair ka na.
Yes or no lang. Yes
Did
or
you
no na
file?
lang ang sagot.
Nag-file ka ba ng criminal case dito sa sinuspindi mong 8 tao? Kilala mo lahat ito. Hindi ko na babanggitin ng pangalan.
sir, di pa ako nag-suspend sa mga yan. It was the Philhealth Board.
Hindi nga ikaw ang nag-suspend. Hindi ko naman tinatanong kung ikaw nag-suspend eh. Kanina pa sinabi ko sa iyo, kung sasagot ka, intindihin mo yung tanong sa iyo. Sinuspindi mo yung mga taong ito sa pag-aakala na napakarami nilang kasalanan. Ang tinatanong sa iyo, did you ever file any single criminal case as against these 8 suspended people o Philhealth? Mga regional directors ito.
Sir,
Did you file?
Others were referred to the National Bureau of Investigation, Mr.
Sus
Chair.
Mariusip na tao ito.
Hindi siya nag-file.
Hindi nag-file.
Ito po yan. Ang totoo niyan, alam mo ba, as the head of the legal department, sabi nga ni Congressman Remulla, ikaw ay yung the most brilliant lawyer on the top of a 200 million
200 billion corporation.
billion corporation. Meron kang kinonstitute dito sa HUD committee suspending these 8 people, pero yung 4 dito were charged by the NBI. Ito yung well-med. At 4 dito ang chinarge ng NBI, isa sa perpetual succor, chinarge sa ombudsman. Pero ito ang kinonstitute mo sa ad hoc committee para suspindihin yung 8. Hindi ka naman nag-file kahit isang criminal case. Ngayon nagyayabang ka. Sinasabi mo, ang dami mong pinail na case. Sino po ba yung kanina nagsalita dyan tungkol sa civil service?
Now, Mr. Chairman, ano lang, i-clarify ko lang, Attorney De Rosario.
Go ahead.
You got an SPA to file the 220 cases in what year?
2017 po yan, Mr. Chair.
So 2017, a year after you became a lawyer, nag-OIC na kayo ng legal department ng Philhealth, tama ba yon?
Noong 2018 na po, Mr. Chair.
2018 na kayo. But you were already working with the legal department in 2017.
No, sir.
You were not, sa anong position mo noong 2017?
Regional Vice President of Region 1.
Region 1. Yung 220 cases na binigyan kayo ng SPA para mag-file, final nyo ba yung 220 cases?
Sir, yung kausap po namin dyan, yung PhilHealth Region 1, ang sabi po sa amin dyan ay may mga inconsistencies po doon sa investigation report. At inaayos po yan yung mga ebidensya. At hindi po yan, that refers to 220 counts against one provider lang po.
Okay, 220 counts against one provider. 2017, 2020 na ngayon. May nangyari na ba since then?
Yes, sir. Yun nga po yung sabi nung bago ng lawyer po doon sa Region 1 that they are checking on the evidence and on the report that there are some inconsistencies.
So after 4 years, they're just checking on the evidence, Mr. De Rosario.
Yeah, that's the representation of the PhilHealth Region 1 office po.
Mr. Chairman, I will not anymore lengthen my questioning on this matter. I think the point is proven.
Yes.
Some people are not meant to serve such a big corporation with such gargantuan problems who are not really qualified for the position.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, may pasakit talaga ang PhilHealth.
Attorney De
PhilHealth is sick
Rosario,
to the bone, Mr. Chairman. May sakit talaga ang PhilHealth, malubhang malubha. At yung mga gagamot dito, lalo na sa legal problems, wala po sa loob ng PhilHealth ngayon because it is my opinion and my submission that the person serving as the Senior Vice President for the legal sector is not competent, Mr. Chairman, to handle that job. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You can allow me a little time to just air my frustrations based on what I have observed during the last hearings and on the basis of the answers being given by our resource persons. Marami pong paikot-ikot, some convoluted answers, prevarications. Alam po ninyo, kailangan mabilisan na lang ito eh. Mr. Chair, I think the success, even the extent of our hearing here will depend entirely on how they will answer our questions. I'm very frustrated simply because not only confusing answers na paikot-ikot, yung iba pa they are outright lies. For example, itong Attorney Del Rosario, when I was asking him about the 100 million given to the Philippine National Red Cross, sasabihin niya sa akin, at dinig na dinig naman ninyo, he was not privy to the negotiations. Para bang hindi niya alam, may hawak akong dokumento that he is one among the 3 members of the panel. Ang kasama niya, Senior Vice President o Vice President Dr. Shirley Domingo at saka yung certain Mr. Oscar Cabado, Vice President for Membership, and Attorney Del Rosario. Pagkatapos sasabihin niya sa atin, he was not privy to the negotiation between PhilHealth and PNRC. Sino hindi mo po prostrate dito? Para bang hindi niya alam, I have even the pictures na nandun siya. Kausap niya yung aking kumpare, Senator Gordon. Wala akong sinasabing masama tungkol sa PNRC. I'm only establishing the facts na nandun siya. Pero sasabihin niya sa atin, sa mukha natin, na magsisinungaling siyang ganon. Si Dr. Pargas naman, ikaw naman, tinanong ko lang kung magkano yung aking contributions. O after 2 days, kung hindi pa kita tinext, hindi mo ibibigay sa akin. How can you do this? Yung Manila doctors, nangako ka sa akin. Hanggang ngayon, nandito ba? Are we getting the right answers from you? Yung isa naman, tinanong kita tungkol sa expanded withholding tax. I cannot remember kung sino na dito. I guess kayo po na nandyan sa... You were telling us pure lies. Ang sabi mo, yung mga health care institutions are the ones paying the expanded withholding tax. Di ba? You were collecting 2% expanded withholding tax. Hindi totoo yun eh. It was Philhealth itself, because Philhealth is the only withholding agent of the BIR. Hindi yung healthcare institutions. Okay? Magkano ang binayad ng PhilHealth? Sinabi na rin ng pagtatanong ni Congressman Barbers, 156.7 million. Kayo ang nagbayad. Pagkatapos, magsisinungaling kayo. Ano makukuha namin na mabuting sagot kung ganito ang gagawin ninyo? Ang sabi ni Dr. Atty. Del Rosario, isa lang ang departamento. Parang hindi niya alam, may dokumento ako, 4 ang departamento niya. May I start with you, Atty. Del Rosario, nandiyan ka ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Can I comment on some points raised by the...
You have no right. Tinatanong ko lang kung nandiyan ka pa.
Thank you, sir.
Magaling kang magpaikot eh. And I warn you, kung ano lang tinatanong ko, yun ang sagutin mo. Huwag kang magpapaikot dito. I think, Mr. Chair, we should already advise them that right now, we're working on a complaint for plunder, malversation, and charges of administrative offenses and so many things. And the final form of this complaint will depend much entirely on the kind of answers that you will give us. Attorney Del Rosario, hindi ba ikaw ang Regional Vice President ng Region 1? Nung
Yes, sir.
220 cases against hospitals and doctors were forwarded to your office. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. I was once...
Yes or no?
Regional Vice President. Yes, I was once Regional Vice President of Philhealth, Region 1.
In 2019, nung hindi na ikaw ang Senior Vice President, teka muna, you were asked to file 220 cases. Ilan ang pinail mo?
I'm sorry, Mr. President. The ones filing the...
I am
cases
asking
is,
you,
legal.
out of the 220 cases endorsed to your office, how many cases did you file?
The Regional Vice President is not the one filing cases, Mr. President. It's the legal office of the region that files
Attorney Del Rosario, I'm warning you, I have documents with me. Huwag mo akong paikutin. I don't care if you're the best lawyer in this country. Pero sa ngayon, sagutin mo lang ang tinatanong ko sa iyo. Because in 2019, nung hindi na ikaw ang Senior Vice President, ito ang lumitaw. Only 3 cases were filed versus St. Catherine Hospital. Totoo hindi.
I don't have the data. As I've told you, Mr. President, the one filing the cases...
What do
then
you know?
was
Palaging paikot-ikot eh. Ikaw ang binigyan ng SPA. Do you want me to show the document that you were given an SPA by then interim President and CEO de la Serna to file appropriate criminal, civil, and administrative cases, for example, against several culprits. This is dated November 2, 2017. Hindi mo aaminin dito?
Mr. President, Mr. Chair, that particular...
I am asking you, do you know about this SPA?
I've known that SPA only of late, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, I have not seen that that particular document was forwarded directly to
I
the
am asking you
unit.
if you know this because this is an SPA issued to you by Interim President CEO De La Serna, dated November 2, 2017. I have the
During that
documents with me.
Yes, sir. I've already seen that document. But
Oh.
I cannot remember seeing that document in 2017, Your
Stop.
Honor, Mr.
There
Chair.
was even an endorsement dated 13 September 2017 for the filing of criminal and administrative case against a certain Dr. Martin Corpus. You know this document, don't you?
I've seen that document on.
Do you know this document? I'm not asking you whether or not you saw the document.
Yes, Your Honor.
Paikot-ikot ka. Ito, Mr. Chair, ang problema sa taong ito eh. Despite all this, SPA endorsement, 220 cases endorsed to your office since you were acting Regional Vice President of Region 1. Wala kang ginawang pinail na kaso kahit isa. For example, it was also disclosed nung mawala ka na sa Region 1, 11 cases are missing. 10 cases versus Elguira General Hospital. 1 case against Dr. Macario Macaraeg. You deny this?
I'm not aware of that, Mr.
Oh, yan. Yan ka na naman. You remember, I have all the documents. I don't care if you remember or you don't remember. That's your problem. Oh, para hindi ka naman, baka mamaya magmalinger ka na naman, ano? Meron kang memorandum number 2018-14. You directed each and every provincial regional office to file at least 1 complaint per quarter. Itong memong ito'y ginawa mo, Attorney Del Rosario, after certain operational audits, fact-finding investigations, nakalagay sa memo mo that there are certain facilities and professionals that are acting against the interest of the Philhealth Fund. Kaya ang ginawa mo, gumawa ka ng memorandum, you ask all the regional offices to determine and ascertain those people, those culprits, identify all them. Parang ang ganda, no? To protect the interest of the PhilHealth Fund. What is the reason why you gave them a quota of only 1 criminal case per 1 quarter? What is the logic for making or putting a quota or any limitation?
Sir, that quota is the minimum. Kasi napansin ko po nung pag-assume ko dito that ever since PhilHealth was created, there were only 11 complaints, criminal complaints filed. And I reviewed cases, and all the criminal complaints were filed by the central office. So there was actually a confusion whether who will file the criminal complaints. So I issued that memorandum, but at the same time, I recognize the limitations of the regions pertaining to their capacity to process all these cases.
Attorney
So
Del
that's why-
Rosario,
Yes, sir.
alam niyo po dito sa session, si Congressman Marcoleta, Congressman Barsaga, hindi na po dapat sila nagpupunta rito because of the COVID. The least you could do, Attorney Del Rosario, while conducting Zoom, at nandyan naman po kayo sa Zoom, i-on nyo naman po yung video nyo para nakikita kayo ni Congressman Marcoleta habang nag-interpolate siya.
Thank you, Mr.
Marcoleta.
Chair.
Kahit hindi ko na siya nakikita, Mr. Chair, mas okay pa sa akin eh. Importante lang sa akin, sagutin niya ng matino yung tinatanong ko. So ang sinasabi mo, Attorney Del Rosario,
Yes, sir.
ikaw pa lang nag-determine. Gaano ka kasigurado na yung determination mo that's only filing of 1 case per quarter, yun ang tama to protect the interest of PhilHealth? Bakit naman?
No, that's the minimum, Mr. Chair.
Sino nagsabi sa yung minimum? Who told you?
Kasi sir,
Who instructed you to give that minimum? Why not 5? Why not 10?
kasi yung ano ko kasi sir, during that time, wala pong
No. Sinong
napapile.
nagsabi sa'yo? Who gave you the guideline na kinakailangan isang kaso lang per quarter? Can you imagine? One filing of case for 3 months? Sino ka para i-determine mo sa sarili mo na yun ang minimum? Why work for the minimum? Why not maximize the opportunity of being able to determine all those culprits in order to defend and protect the funds of Philhealth? Huwag ka na mga twira ng kung ano-ano. So, ikaw pa lang nagdi-determine. Yung pa lang mabuti sa Philhealth. That is the way to protect the funds of Philhealth. Kailangan isa lang na case ang i-file in 3 months' time.
Mr. Chairman,
Hindi ko alam kung anong logic meron ka, attorney. Ha?
Mr. Chair.
Teka muna, I'm not asking you anything.
Okay sir, proceed sir. Sorry.
Doon sa PhilHealth Circular, dito makikita natin, Mr. Chair, siyang nagdi-determine. Ha? Wala kang sinabi na ang board ang nag-advise sa'yo. Not even the board, not even the EXICOM. Only one person, Mr. Chair, has the power to determine kung sino at ilan ang ipapile na case. Diyos Maria Joseph na buhay ito. Doon sa PhilHealth Circular 2020, balikan natin yan, 0007. Merong effectivity doon napansin ko lang kagabi nung nire-review ko to Do you know the effectivity of that particular circular, Attorney Del Rosario?
If I remember it right, I think it's March 20 or 21, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Narinig mo yung sagot, Mr. Chair? Why did you say it took effect on March 31?
21 yata, 21 po yata. I don't have the document right now, Mr. President.
Wala ka
Mr.
palang
Chair.
dokumento. Bakit sinasabi mong March 31 what? What year? 2020?
Sir, are you referring to the IRM circular, Mr. Chair?
I am talking about PhilHealth Circular 2020. Ito yung IRM. COVID-19
Okay,
ito. Kabisado mo ito Bakit mo sinabing March 31, 2020 ang effectivity? Why?
Hindi sir, ang sabi ko sir, ang alam ko March 20 or March 21.
Ang sinasabi ko sa iyo, merong effectivity itong circular na to. Ang tanong ko sa iyo, do you know when did this PhilHealth circular take effect?
I think nakalagay po dyan effective immediately, Your Honor.
So hindi mo kabisado?
I'm
You
not
tell
sure
me, I
about
will
the
help
date.
you. Hindi mo kabisado?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Oh, it takes immediately from its publication in a newspaper of general circulation and take note, 3 copies, certified copies to have been furnished to the Office of the National Administrative Register of the UP Law Center. When did you or PhilHealth furnish the Office of National Administrative Hospital of UP? When? When did Honor of UP Law Center receive the 3 copies from PhilHealth?
Sir, it's not my office that is in charge of that. So maybe we can ask the sector. in charge.
Maybe ka na naman You are the Executive Vice President ng legal sector. You have worked for PhilHealth for 20 years or so. Pati lang itong effectivity. Ito na naman, paikot-ikot ka na naman. Alam mo ito Do I need to tell you or give you the document? Ako mismo
Sir.
ang ang nag-search
Sir, during the Senate hearing, it was mentioned that it was only in June that PhilHealth provided copies to the
So
Honor.
what day in June? What day in June?
If I remember it right, it's June 11, yung document shown by Senator Lacson.
Alam mo na yun Magmamali ka pa June 11, hindi 7. Do I
June
need to
11
correct you every time?
I said June 11, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So ngayon, alam natin, ito palang IRM took effect legally June 11, 2020. So what happened to the funds that you disbursed prior to this date? What?
It appears that the requirement of the circular was not satisfied as to the requirement to furnish the...
What kind of answer is that? Are you a lawyer? Talaga ba lawyer ka? June 11, nung magkaroon ng kopya ang owner of the UP Law Center. Meaning to say, doon lang nag-take effect yung inyong yung circular 2020-0007. Alright? Ang tinatanong ko sa iyo, what happened to the funds disbursed prior to this date? Let's say March, April, May, and June 10. What happened to those funds?
Sir, it would appear that those funds were not released based on the prerequisites set by the circular on the publication and the furnishing of copies to the owner.
What? Can you speak better than that? Do you have a better explanation than that? Napakasimple ng tanong ko eh. Ano ngayon ang mangyayari doon sa pondo na nirelease ninyo prior to the effectivity of this circular?
So it is without authority, it would appear, Mr. Chair.
Anong sabi niya?
Without authority.
Oh, sa walang authority, now what happens to you now? To all of you?
Illegal.
O illegal? Okay. Mabuti yan nagsasabi ka na ng totoo ngayon.
Ako yun. Ako nagsabi nun. Honorable Marcoleta.
Ay, ikaw ba?
Oh, pasagutin natin sila.
Do you agree to the statement of the chairman? Illegal. Oh, hindi na makasagot.
Are you asking me? Yes, Mr. I agree with
Oh,
the
illegal,
chairman.
di ba? Illegal na.
It did not comply.
Tinatanong lang kita, illegal na, di ba?
Yes, I agree, Mr.
Simple.
Chairman.
Attorney Del Rosario, simple lang po sagot. Illegal po ba? Hindi.
Yes, I agree, Mr. Chair.
Ano sagot,
Na-
Mr. Chair?
Sabi niya, yes, I admit, I am pretty certain. Is that correct?
I agree with the chairman that it's illegal.
Oh.
Was that properly recorded, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Honorable Marcoleta, it was on record.
Thank you. Attorney Del Rosario, bilang isang napakahusay na abogado, ikaw ba naniniwala na ang COVID-19, alam mo siguro yung COVID-19, hindi ba? Alam mo ba yung COVID-19, Attorney Del Rosario?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Kailangan makasiguro tayo, Mr. Chair. Masyadong madulas ito eh. Is COVID-19 can be considered a fortuitous event within the meaning and objectives of PhilHealth Circular Number 2020-007. Huwag kang sasagot ng hindi mo naintindihan. Within the meaning and objectives of PhilHealth Circular 2020-007, can COVID-19 be considered a fortuitous event?
I think my opinion on the matter, Mr. Chair, is that the fortuitous event is the pandemic caused by the COVID-19 infections, Mr. Chair.
Attorney Del Rosario, kung alam mo nasa courtroom lang tayo, ako ang judge, baka pinalabas na kita eh. Tinatanong lamang kita eh, kung within the meaning and objectives of your own circular, kung makukonsider mo bilang isang mahusay na abogado na fortuitous event ito, you can refer to your circular kung gusto mo. Kabisado mo ito kaysa sa akin. Kung ngayon ko lang nabasa ito eh. Paano ka namang hindi masusuya sa ganitong klaseng mga sagot na? Naniniwala ka ba na ito makaklasify na fortuitous event?
Yes, sir. I think that's the intention of the
Yun.
corporation.
Yun ang paniwala mo, hindi ba? So, nakalimutan mo, second paragraph nung rational nung PhilHealth circular, sinasabi ang ganito. Act of God, like floods, typhoons, di ba? Wars, gera, to effect displacement of communities in several endangered areas. So dito makikita, yung fortuitous event has the capacity to displace a community. Merong physical ano ito eh, merong physical attribute ito, displacement of communities. Under objectives, nakalagay, to provide aid to healthcare institutions in rebuilding their critically damaged healthcare systems. Physical ang pinag-uusapan dito eh. Pagkatapos, hiningam ka pa ng description or photo of the effects of fortuitous event. Nakikita mo ba yung COVID-19? Attorney Del Rosario? Do you see the enemy?
No, sir. Only the effects.
May kinakailangan ng photo rito eh. Paano mo lilitratuan si COVID-19? Hindi mo nga nakikita eh. Pagkatapos, nandun pa, explicitly mention if majority of the claims under the HCI's custody were totally destroyed. Anong ibig sabihin nito? These are collection of words and phrases that denote that something was damaged, physically damaged. Kaya nga kailangan yung IRM eh. Kaya kanina tinatanong kita kung klasifikado nga na fortuitous event. Yes sir lang ng yes sir, pero hindi mo naintindihan ang sarili mong circular. Bakit nagsinungaling ka sa akin nung sabihin mo na you are not privy to the negotiation between PNRC and PhilHealth?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The negotiation na pumunta po kami doon, kausap namin si Senator Gordon, it does not pertain to the amount of the mobilization fund. Ang pinag-usapan po namin dito doon, Mr. Chair, ay yung proseso kung paano makatulong yung PhilHealth doon sa pagpapabilis ng pag-submit ng documents ng Red Cross for liquidation. Hindi po yung usapan po doon tungkol sa tungkol sa amount ng mobilization fund. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sa palagay mo ba, kapanipaniwala yung sagot mo sa akin? Hindi ba totoo na tatlo kayo rito? Nasa akin ang dokumento, attorney.
Yes, sir.
Kung
Nandun po kami,
pipilitin
sir,
mo,
Mr. Chairman.
kung pipilitin mo na magsinungaling ka pa, nasa sayo yun. Okay? Kaya nga sinasabi ko sa iyo kanina, the final form of this complaint for plunder, malversation, and so on and so forth will depend on the kind of answers that you will give this joint committee. Kasama mo si Legal o Vice President Shirley Domingo and Mr. Cabado, the Vice President for Membership. Noong inegotiate ninyo, kayo ang panel. Pagkatapos, directly magsisinungaling ka sa amin.
Yes, sir. We negotiated, but yun, sir, yung dinidiscuss namin yung proseso, hindi po yung amount po ng mobilization. The amount of mobilization, sir, po yun top level negotiation po. So,
Gaano katap yung level?
Pumunta po kami doon, hindi naman po si Senator Gordon po yung intention namin kausap, yun naman po mga staff, yung gagawa po ng mga forms. Tapos nakita lang po kami ni Senator Gordon, kaya po kami tinawag. So
sige,
hindi po yun yung negotiation.
Maglubid ka ng buhangin kung gusto mo. Pero ang sinasabi ko rito, yung 100 million is a clear deviation from the objectives and parameters set forth in your own PhilHealth circular. Because, ang sinasabi ko sa iyo, sa aminin mo't hindi, wala namang historical claims ang PNRC. So, kailangan explain mo sa amin, ano ang basis ng 100 million? Sapagkat akala ko ba, kasi dito lumilitaw, Mr. Chair, yung paggastos, yung pagwaldas ng pera ng PhilHealth, walang patumangga, walang protection. Kaya kapag tatanungin mo sila, ano bang basis nito? Anong guideline dito? Bakit ginamit ninyo yung COVID-19 circular pagkatapos wala namang claims dito? Wala namang i-rebuild, wala namang facilities na gagawin. But you earmark 100 million for PNRC. That's only the point. I wanted to establish kapag ang pinag-uusapan, paggasta, mabilis, walang patumangga. Mr. Chair, PhilHealth, as one institution, forgot one thing, na itong perang ito, hindi sa kanila. They keep the money in trust. They have that fiduciary responsibility to protect this trust. Alam mo, Attorney Del Rosario, yung pera mo, kung po-protectionan mo yun, okay lang, kasi pera mo yun eh. Pero ito, kung kinakailangan triplihin mo o sampuhin mo ang pangangalaga sa perang ito, that is the requirement of a fiduciary responsibility. Do you agree or not?
We agree, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yun ang gusto naming standard sana eh. Hindi ganun eh. Hindi ganun. Mr. Chair, may I direct my questions to other panels? Sino po kaya ang pwedeng sumagot dito?
I would think Dr. Pargas would have a hand on that, on the 100 million ceiling for Philippine National Red Cross. Yung po yung tanong ng Honorable Marcoleta, sino nagrekomenda ng 100 million at bakit ibibigay? Dr. Pargas.
Mr. Chair, Attorney Labe will respond on that.
Attorney Labe.
Mr. Chair, good afternoon. I'm not privy to the 100 million, but I understand how they funded this project, Mr. Chair, because the expanded targeting testing was computed at 2% of the 13 million population in NCR at the time, Mr. Chair, and it's about, I think, 900 million. But as regards to the advance payment of the 100 million, I was not part of the... I'm not privy to that, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, yung word for the day ngayon is, or the phrase, I'm not privy. Nagbayad ba ng expanded withholding tax? Pinawas nyo ba yun? Nung ibigay nyo yung 100 million sa PNRC? Oh, you are not privy. Okay. Attorney Dr. Pargas, on August 5, 2011, PhilHealth issued Circular Number 011-2011 to implement a case-based payment. Ito yung ACR, case rate, for 23 selected cases and surgical procedures. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
You know, you cannot blame me if I expect, faster answers. Kasi circular ninyo to eh. Ako, 2-3 araw ko lang nabasa ito eh. But I can commit them into memory if I want to.
It was signed by our president then on August 5.
Yeah, that is correct. And in this circular, it says that it should be reviewed every 6 months. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Every 6 months. Positive, okay? Yes?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. On October 29, 2013, PhilHealth issued circular number 0031, series of 2013, to implement an all-case rate policy. Correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. The objectives are as follows. Reduce claim processing or time turnaround TAT. Increase PhilHealth support value. Rationalize reimbursement rates. and achieve technical efficiency for providers. Okay, isa-isahin natin, Dr. Pargas. Achieve technical efficiency for providers. Did we achieve this?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
How can you say that? Technical efficiency for self-providers. Katakot-takot na audit observation memo. Inulang kayo ng napakaraming notice of disallowances concerning the payments to these hospitals and care capacity. Pagkatapos sasabihin mo, how could you even say that? Achieve technical efficiency for providers. Rationalize reimbursement rates. Okay. Have we rationalized reimbursement rates? Have we? Tinanong nga kita nung isang araw what will happen to the excess payment given to the hospital? Sabi mo sa hospital na lang yun. Is that the way you rationalize reimbursements, Dr. Pargas? Ang kanyang intervention is only 10,000 pesos. Binayaran mo siya ng 15,000 pesos. Yung 5,000 napunta sa hospital. That is rationalization. That is rationalization.
Mr. Chair, with regard to the one, ang prinsipyo po kasi nung case rate really is, dahil fixed po siya, meron po talagang mga kaso na maaaring mas mataas ang nagagastos,
alam
pero
na
maaari
natin
po
yun,
mas
Dr.
mababa.
Pargas. We've been there. Ulit-ulit na tayo dyan. But the system is bad. It is not correct because it is not a system where you were able to get back the excess fund para magamit uli ng Philhealth. That is the most ideal thing to do. You remember the bus conductor or the bus inspector? I've been telling you. You
Yes,
remember
Mr. Chair.
the inspector in the trains?
Yes, Mr.
Ganon
Chair.
dapat yun So wala talagang malasakit
Dr. Pargas, I'm sorry to say, pero ang audit report nyo, since that time, parating negative. Wala kayong naging auditing report na positive.
Precisely. Kaya nga itong mga objectives na ito na binabasa, walang natupad dito Example, paano mo na-reduce yung claim processing? Dahil mabilis kang magbayad. Siyempre, wala na kahit na ba sumobra pa ng 10,000 ito ano naman ang pakinin nyo? Hindi talaga, ang lumilitaw dito sa pagsusuri namin dito, pag yung pag-alaga, yung pagsinop doon sa pondo, wala kayong pakialam doon Yung pag-disburse, yung pag-i-spend, yun ang mabilis. Tingnan na lamang natin, Mr. Chair. Ang pagkakaalam ko, the number 2 killers, mortality, na pumapatay sa tao, sa ngayon, number 1, heart diseases. Number 2, vascular diseases. Number 3, malignant neoplasma. Ito yung cancer. Bakit ang nangyari, Dr. Pargas, ang tatlong yung top ninyo na ailments na binabayaran under all case rate, pneumonia, gastroenteritis, and UTI. What happened to the 3 topmost killers in this country? Did you ever think about this? Did you adopt a study? Mukhang talagang walang pag-aaral dito. Somebody have been telling me na ito po talagang minadali. Now we are able to confirm all this. Even by way of your answers, you are not able to reply to us with certainty, with conviction, and in all honesty, I am frustrated with the answers that you are giving us. Ang gusto ko lang kaya ako nagpunta rito, Mr. Chair, I wanted to see that Attorney Del Rosario. I want to tell him in his face how frustrated I am in giving me all these answers. These silly answers. Alam po ba ninyo, Dr. Pargas, alam ko nagre-research din ako, maski mahirap Ang daming adverse COA findings sa inyo. For example, less than a year after the ACR was implemented, na-implement kasi you started with 23, so 2011. Less than a year after the ACR implementation, Philhealth suffered financial bleeding. Ang dami. It was triggered by spate
Overpayment.
notice of disallowances. Ang dami. Let me cite examples. Region 5, Dr. Pargas. Notice of disallowance dated September 12. 2,273,000, blah, blah, blah. Audit observation memo, PCH. Philhealth is not protecting. Ito yung observation mismo, ha? Ang sakit nito, eh. Philhealth is not protecting the interests of its members and instead benefiting the institutional healthcare providers. Baligtad, eh. Ito yung observation ng... I'm not sure if
Honorable Marcoleta, with apologies, can you wrap up?
I am trying, Mr. Chair. But I think you will have to forgive me if I continue.
I continuously forgive you,
Thank you.
Honorable Marcoleta.
Region 12, Audit Observation Memo, questioning the validity of benefits claims payment of 4.6 million due to lack of statement of accounts from HCIs. Region 2, Notice of Disallowance dated August 31, 2018, disallowed the overpayment of 56 million. NCR, various notice of disallowances disallowing the payments of some 54 million pesos. Not only that, Mr. Chair, not only the adverse findings of the COA, ito mga independent studies ito, Dr. Pargas, I will cite several of them. In November 2016, a paper entitled 2016 Health Finance Policy Sector Report Rationalizing Case Rates was presented to the PhilHealth Board. You recall this, Mr. Pargas?
No, Mr. Chair, just to clarify, in 2012 po, I was in corporate communications. 2013 to mid-2018, I am with the corporate affairs. Ako po ay napunta lang sa health finance noon pong mid of 2018 as an OIC and was appointed as Senior Vice President ng Health Finance noong 2019.
What are you saying? You don't know about this paper?
When it was presented po, I was not there during that time.
Yeah, the question is, do you know? And you came to know about this paper? Yun lang. Yun lang ang tanong.
And Mr. Chair, yung title, just to, sorry po, apologies po, yung title lang po.
Ito nga, 2016 Health Finance Policy Sector Report Rationalizing Case Rates. Importante ito because these are independent studies commenting and trying to help you determine the weaknesses of the system. This is on record. This is on record.
Yes
you know
po,
this?
I think I've heard naman po.
Yun
Yes.
lang naman eh.
Yes po.
Okay. This report, Dr. Pargas, for your elementary education, showed that the fee for service, ito yung dati, this is the old system na pinalitan ng all case rates. The FFS payment scheme's average value per claim did not exceed 5,000. So yung old system ninyo, yung average value per claim did not even exceed 5,000 pesos. Ito yung sinasabi ng report. Itong all case rate posted an increase of 44.9% average increase in payment to level 1 hospitals. Is this correct?
Yes, Mr.
Okay, yes. This report also further showed that despite a 9% decrease in the number of claims in level 1 hospitals, nag-decrease ng 9% yung claims ng level 1 hospitals, but the amount paid to them increased by 65% nung gamitin na ninyo ang ACR system. Ito yung lumabas sa study. Okay. The same report, Mr. Chair, disclosed also that an overpayment in more than 1/4 of the total claims, 1/4 ng total claims in 2016 ay nandoon. And it resulted in overpayment of about 2.6 billion pesos for the same year. Ito yung sinabi ng study. Okay? Ito pa. Also, in November 2016, in Davao City, merong in-house actuary na nag-present ng report entitled, this is the title of the report, Towards NHIP, ito yata yung National Health Insurance Program, Sustainability, Fiscal Year 2016 to 2025. It was presented at the Philhealth Regional Consultative Meeting. You know about this?
I would recall, Mr. Chair.
So ang ano lang, ang factual lang talagang, it did happen talaga. There was a paper presented in such a gathering, right?
I would suppose so, Mr. Chair.
Okay. This report, Dr. Pargas, warned PhilHealth that the NHIP fund operated at a net loss for fiscal year 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2015. Okay, yun ang report. Winarn kayo na you were on a operating loss. This report also projected that the fund would be depleted by 2019 because the expected operating expense was estimated at 140 billion or a deficit of 140 billion. Ang estimated collection lang naman ninyo, 110 billion. So you have a deficit of 10 billion.
Honorable Marcoleta, mukha naman pong agree naman po si SP Vargas sa lahat ng mga binanggit ninyo at tama po yung inyong mga pinunto. I'll give you time to wrap up and the next is the Honorable Remulla. Sa likod nyo lang po ang kagalang-galang boy Remulla.
Yes, sir, pero ito namang si Congressman Remulla kasi kaibigan ko naman ito talaga. Pagpapasensya na ko nito. Isa na lang kasi pong...
Sige po, Honorable Marcoleta.
Dr. Pargas, in 2018, mas importante itong mga independent studies na ito eh. A 2018 World Bank paper entitled Striving for Equity and Efficiency, an assessment of provider payment reforms in the Philippine health sector. Meron din ito. This World Bank paper recommended the revision. Tandaan po ninyo, kung wala po kayo nito, pero dapat naman meron kayo. This World Bank paper recommended the revision of the ACR payment mechanism, noting that case rates fix the amount that providers receive in advance and eliminate the option of uncontrolled balance billing in public and private hospitals. Ito yung dapat ninyong makita. It further noted that when PhilHealth switched to case rate payments, it failed to put in place a cost control mechanism. Ito yung pinakamabigat. Kaya ang sabi nga natin, talagang gatasang baka na nga. Ito, tatagalog ko yung isa para mas matindi. Sabi pa nito, ang dalawang pinaka-importanting aspeto ng polisiya ng ACR or all case rate, maganyak ang tagabigay ng serbisyo na maging technically efficient at maprotektahan ang mga pasyente sa mga panganib na pampinansyal na hindi matutupad sa paraan ng pagkakadisenyo ng ACR policy. Ang konklusyon, mismong request na gawin para sa PhilHealth at DOH at ang payo kay DOH ganito, the fundamental shortcoming in the way the case rate payment mechanism has been implemented is exactly the same as the PFFS. Ito yung nakaraan, with the ACR payment serving merely as a discount off the hospital service charge. Napakasakit po na ito. Pero ito, these are all, I'd say, mga guidelines na binigay sa inyo, pambukas isip sa inyo, pero balikan na kita, tuhuli na po ito sapagkat marami pa akong itatanong pero second round na lang ako. The last hearing, Dr. Pargas, sabi mo sa akin, sa lahat ng nangyayaring ganito, the structural deficiency in the system of collecting the balances, kung meron man, sabi ko, pinag-aralan mo ba? Ang sabi mo sa akin, aaralin nyo pa lang. Paano nangyari yun? Yung inyong policy, dapat every 6 months inaaral ninyo. The independent studies, sinabi na sa inyo ang deficiency, even the World Bank. Pagkatapos sinabi mo sa akin noong nakarang araw, aaralin nyo pa lang. You started in 2011. 9 years later, sasabihin mo, Dr. Pargas, aaralin nyo pa lang. What will happen to the fund? What will happen to the fund?
Huwag kalimutang i-like, i-share at mag-subscribe sa aming Liana Vlogs News YouTube channel. Muli, ako si Angelica de los Santos. Magandang araw.